NBC News terrorism analyst Jim Cavanaugh for more on this. He's also retired ATF special agent in charge and a former hostage negotiator. Jim, good morning. So let's walk through some of those techniques, and I'd like to get your reaction to them about how they were actually able to zero in on Cavalcante's location. We've heard about this thermal imaging, the police dog involved. Just tell us about your reaction to what we've heard so far about how they did this.
Well, it was textbook, really, Savannah. What they do is you have to have the leadership. You set up the structure and resources. They didn't turn down any help. The state police in Pennsylvania have 4,700 troopers, yet they still needed the help, and they were smart enough from their past manhunts to get and accept all that help from city, county, state, and federal agents to move in, work together, set up the perimeter, a double perimeter, and then work steady, leveraging the public to help them. And they got the break from the alarm, where they could send the SWAT teams over to that location. They sent the DEA fixed-wing aircraft with the infrared radar. They saw the heat signature at night of a human in the field. They were chased away by the thunderstorm, but then they had the SWAT teams in the immediate area. They brought the plane back, zeroed in on them, and made the capture. So good work, strong leadership, structure and resources, textbook case. Good work all around.
We've heard so much about this concept of the perimeter, not only that Cavalcante was able to break through that search perimeter what seems like twice, but then also, of course, how they kind of sort of tightened it up, kept narrowing in, and we heard a couple days before the capture about the size of that and all that kind of stuff. Just walk us through what goes into setting up a perimeter in a search like this and how important that ultimately was to have an area that they were zeroed in on.
Yeah, I think people have an unrealistic view of what a perimeter is. Look, this guy can escape a walled prison yard with razor wire and towers. It's not that hard to get out of a perimeter, a police perimeter that's set up. Look at these officers. Where's the next car? You know, it's a quarter mile down the road, and maybe the officers can see each other. Sometimes there's curves in the road. And so, you know, at night in a brushy area like this, a man can just wait and run across the road. I've had cop killers do that when I've had perimeters that I've been in charge of with, you know, hundreds of agents and troopers, and they can slip through. So it's not unusual that they slip through. I think we have to have a realistic belief of what a real perimeter is in areas that are this large. Mm-hmm. The police did an extraordinary job here. When they located him, or he was spotted on a camera, or during the theft of the rifle, they moved their resources closer. They readjusted their perimeter. They had a double perimeter. Look, they needed some luck too, and they got some luck because the dairy van he stole ran out of gas. All right. And if the dairy van he stole did not run out of gas, the keys were left in it, he could have been in Canada or Mexico and slipped the perimeter. So it takes a little luck too. As the old Yankees coach said, Branch Rickey, luck is the residue of design, and they designed it to catch him, and it was good work.
Jim, finally, before I let you go, if we could just kind of go back to the beginning of this. I mean, we know it took about an hour before prison guards even realized that he had escaped. We've seen the video, of course, of that kind of amazing crab walk he did up the wall. Here it is on the screen again. We also know this isn't the first time there's been an escape from this facility. They have discussed changes they'll make. They made changes after this had happened before. But what really needs to go on here in order to prevent something like this from happening again at this particular location?
Common sense. A prisoner escaped the exact same way in May. And you got this cubby hole there where, you know, maybe it's not in view of the guard tower. And they could have built a brick wall there for, you know, some thousands of dollars. Instead, we spent millions and millions chasing a guy all over hell and half of Pennsylvania. So it takes some common sense. It takes the county commissioners in the county that supervise that prison to say, yeah, we're going to have to spend some money here. Let's build a brick wall. Let's tighten this up. Let's not have these hidden chambers in the exercise yard. And then we won't have to deal with this. But sometimes wardens and sheriffs have a hard time getting the funds out of the county. People don't want to do it. They don't want to spend the money. But it's pay me now or pay me later. So give those wardens and sheriffs some money they need to keep these guys in there to keep us all safe.
All right, Jim Cavanaugh, thanks as always.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.